Okay, so the 10 reasons for WordPower for the grid. I love the fact that in addition to this software running really nicely on communication devices, it can also be purchased as a Windows add-on. This is a 100 location word-based core vocabulary. There's actually 103 locations. Did my best to make it easy and intuitive to use and also to teach and support. There are lots of logical next words built in the program to enhance communication and minimize keystrokes, and I'll show how that works. I decided to have strong symbol support. So the widget symbols are used for this version that's been completed for the British version. It's definitely customized. I did this program with Google and Barney and Trevor, all of SmartBox, and we made sure that the words that in the United States might be one thing, it's set to work for the British vocabulary, and there will be a version that's customized for the American, an American version. There's actually a new version, a new feature in this program where core vocabulary is actually incorporated within the categories, and I'll show that. There's our direct links from core verbs to go to related semantic categories. And then, of course, there's inclusion of the real cool computer access and ECU features for which the grid is known, and Trevor's going to talk about that. And there's also very nice and sophisticated word prediction. So here's the program. I'm just going to move this window over slightly. So what I'm going to do is try to just show you how the program works and point out the different settings. So for those of you who are not familiar with WordPower, this should look familiar if you are familiar with WordPower, because there are certain things that are kind of always true. One is that the pronouns are on the left and they're in yellow, and then you see the light green is the helping verbs, and these are more verbs. And then over here in blue you have function words, and then you have articles and demonstratives. And these three keys here are word prediction keys. And across the top, all of these keys that have words that are in all caps, those indicate that it's a link and it goes to another page. So this layout is pretty common to WordPower. And then you see that on all the pages there's a speak that will speak the message window. Rest, my understanding is that that's mainly in consideration for people that might be using eye gaze. Delete word, there's a smart period, and clear display. So when you're going to notice that there are a lot of logical next words. So if I say I, the word what was be becomes am. I. And then these three keys are the keys that have been programmed with logical next words. So one of the nice things about the grid software is that you can decide what suggested words should come up. And so those three words will come here. So if I say I am, then all of the verb forms change into the present progressive form. Going to be working. And then when I select time, that's a self-closing grid, meaning it's going to open and close as soon as I select something. Today. I am going to be working today. And then the smart period speaks the sentence, and then the next word will be capitalized. I'm big on teaching my clients to use the smart period because then they don't have to hit clear display between all of their sentences. You want to come. So when I say come, the logical next words are come away, come back, come over. Over to my house today. Now if I want to do the smart question mark, I'll hit questions, and there's the smart question mark and the smart exclamation point.
Do you want to come over to my house today? That would be really.
And I hit describe. And when I go to the describe page, well, you know, I can say great.
Great. That would be really great.
So again, that's a self-closing grid. If I look at the describe page, what I've got is I've got the colors on the right, obviously, and then around this part of the page I have feelings: hungry, thirsty, tired, sick, happy, sad, excited, and on the bottom are more negative feelings. And then you'll see that other adjectives are coded by opposite concepts. So better, worse, big, little, broken, fixed, clean, and dirty. And then when I hit more, there's a second page of those. So for describe, here's the verb feel. If I say,
I feel.
It's going to take me right to this page. So I could say, I feel really.
Really. Frustrated. I feel really frustrated.
That was Trevor.
He was feeling really frustrated. He was feeling really frustrated.
Is that right, Trevor? Okay. I'm hoping you can still hear me. Okay. So I just want to show you a few other things on the main page. So we also have the ing, ed, and s. So if I wanted to say helped,
help, helped.
I've got that. And of course, open.
Opens.
And if you select one of the describing words, like heavy,
heavy,
you'll see that these three keys, ER, EST, and LY appear. So you can say
heavier,
heavier, or
heavy, heaviest.
And notice on this page also is where the than is. So I could say light, and there's than.
Lighter than.
Okay. And as a default, we sort of decided, like when you hit clear display or when you hit the period at the end of a sentence, that what, where, and when are going to pop up here. Now those words also appear on the questions page. So the questions page, in addition to just having questions, it has all of these helping verbs. Because we might want to start a sentence. If we started a sentence with the word does, obviously does is not here. We didn't have room for does. So you might go here so that you can say,
does she have time to go with me? Does she have time to go with me?
Okay. And then again, there are logical next words here. So if I say what, I've got what else, whatever, what color, what happened, what time, what is it, and of course you could add more if you wanted to, if you were so inclined. If I say where, I've got wherever, where is it, where else.
How,
how long, how many, how old, how much, how is it, however.
Long.
So if I wanted to ask a question like, how long will this be?
How long will this be? How long will this be?
It was really fun to work on this vocabulary because there are so many cells on each page. So we were able to just include lots and lots of vocabulary. It gets harder and harder the fewer cells you have. So if you wanted to say all done, you can see all done and all gone. So.
It is all gone. It is all gone.
And sometimes we put a picture there, and sometimes we wouldn't. So I'll just show you a few more sentences, and then I'm going to start talking about some of the concepts. Make sure I cover. You are doing really good work.
You are doing really good work for me. You are doing really good work for me.
I'm coming to see you.
I am coming to see you tomorrow. I am coming to see you tomorrow.
Okay, another thing I want to point out, when I select time, I talked about how that's a self-closing page. But if you have a student that's studying the vocabulary and really wants to stay on that page for a while, on some of these self-closing pages that have the links from the main page, you'll see this, which is a stay here. So when I select stay here, now...
Yesterday, today, tomorrow.
On here.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
I can stay on that page until I'm ready to get off. Places, the way the places page is set up, you have buildings, places related to home, outside, and school, and then you have a stay here. And then you also have a link to geography. On the social page, you have some things like, again, we try to give examples of things that you might want to add, like LOL, great, no way. And then things that we say all the time, like I need to use the bathroom, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, please, thank you. And then a little social greeting section.
How are you? Hello. Hello, what's up?
And then, so after you, if someone asks the communication, the device user, how they're doing, they can select I'm and talk about how they are. I'm happy.
Happy.
Or
I'm feeling really great. I'm happy. I'm feeling really great.
people as the object form of the pronouns, and then, of course, woman, man, girl, boy, and lots of blank spaces to add more people. And then there's a link on this page to jobs category, and also school people. So a page where you can put students' names. All right. We also, when I say I need, I'm going to kind of focus a little bit on these three keys now. So I need a break, I need a hug, I need medicine, and I guess it might be nice to show how that's done. So if I say I need, I'm just going to edit this, and I'm going to show need. And you'll see need has suggested words. And so we suggested a break, a hug, and medicine. And so somebody could certainly go in and change those if they were so inclined. When I select drink, we actually had 5 keys: drink water, juice, milk, tea, and coffee. And this kind of goes into the next concept I want to introduce, that some of the verbs have direct links to their categories. So when I select drink, if I want to, I can click on this key and it takes me into the drinks category where all of the drinks are. But I could also, if I just want to say, I want some coffee, please, or I want to drink some coffee, please.
Want to drink coffee.
That's going to come right up.
Please. Drink, I want to drink coffee, please.
Okay. Eat. When you select eat, again, there's a link directly to the food category, but also you can go directly to the subcategories. So let's see how that works. When I go into food, you look across the top of the page and you see this is the snacks page that you go to, but you also have a direct link to the breakfast page, meals, fruits and vegetables, desserts, Chinese, Italian, and Indian. So from the main page,
eat.
You could go directly into those 4 subcategories. Play has links that go to games, toys, and sports. A couple of the kids that I work with always are telling me, I want to play on the iPad. So again,
can I play on the iPad? Can I play on the iPad?
Or
can I play?
And then I could click on sports.
Basketball with you. Can I play basketball with you?
The verbs watch and wear and read also have links. So I'll show you read.
He does not like to read the paper. He does not like to read the paper.
Or you could select read,
Read.
And then jump right into that reading page where almost all of these category pages have lots of room to customize. And watch.
Watch.
Watch a movie, watch TV. So I can say,
Do you want to watch a movie with me? Do you want to watch a movie with me? That would be a.
So after I say a, I have lot, little, long.
Lot of. Fun.
Okay. Okay, just a few more logical next words.
Turn.
When you say turn, you can say turn it on, turn it off, turn around. When you're working with your clients, you need to kind of teach them that they need to pay attention to these 3 cells because it will greatly enhance their communication.
Get.
When I say get dressed, get ready, get some. So, okay.
You need to get dressed. You need to get dressed. Tell.
Okay, here's another thing that we did to save some keystrokes. I pointed out that the object form of the pronouns is on the people page, so that's where we have him, her, them. but we made
tell,
her, him, and them logical next words after tell. So I could say,
I need to tell her all about my,
and here's an example of a word completion here.
myself. I need to tell her all about myself. Up,
When you say up, you've got upside, upstairs.
down,
When you say
with,
with, you've got within, without. And I think I showed
the,
has the best and the one. So I could say something like,
that is the best way to go. I think. That is the best way to go, I think.
so I hope that gives you a good feel for the main page and how the core vocabulary works. Here's a link to the spelling page. And on this page, obviously, you have 6 word prediction keys, and you have lowercase and uppercase, and this is where you have your numbers. So, and I know that the word prediction on this software is very nice, very sophisticated. So you can also use this to talk about time. So you could say something like,
I will be ready at 5 o'clock. I will be ready at 5 o'clock.
okay. Okay. And also, on the time page, there is a link up there for telling time. So if you have students that you just want to be on this page and you want to talk about the time,
12:30. 4:45.
you can do it from that page also. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is the category pages. And so this is the page that you get when you select groups. And across the top, you'll see, I've been asked why I did this, but you'll have lots of categories for animals, pets, farm animals, wild animals. Because in some of my older work, you would just select animals and all these subcategories would be available. But since there was room, I just decided to put the animal links across the top. And if you go into one of these groups, like farm animals, then all the subgroups are existing across the top. So there's certainly room to add more categories if you so choose, but this is a pretty good grouping. So what's unique about what we've done with the grid is that, and I'm just going to go into pets to kind of show how this works. In addition to the specific vocabulary that's for this category, in this case pets, you also have a fair amount of core vocabulary. And of course, this vocabulary is in the same place as it is on the main page. So, and you have a few verbs that are specific to this category: feed, pet, and walk. So if I say I
want to walk the dog. I want to walk the dog. Do you like dogs? Do you like dogs? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? I really love Hermit crab. Crabs. I really love hermit crabs.
So I hope you guys are getting a feel for the fact that you can say a lot of things in these categories. I'll go to another category. I'm going to jump over to reading. So with reading, of course, the verb that's specific to this page is read. I'll show you a few others. So if I go to drinks, of course, the verb that's unique to this page is drink. And if I go to toys, play, and give, and again, these verbs are always in the same place they are on the main page. I'll go back to reading. And so,
You like to read journals. Do you like to read journals? He wants to read a book about giraffes.
so some people have asked me, when you're teaching core vocabulary, do you start on the main core or do you start within the category? And I don't have an answer for that. I think it's fine to do it either way. But I think oftentimes when new clinicians are using something like this, it can be a little overwhelming. So I think oftentimes what happens is families or clinicians or teachers might end up just going to a category page. So now, in addition to the vocabulary and the nouns related to that category, you have core. So on this page about clothing, I can say,
I am going to wear my blue skirt. I am going to wear my blue skirt. What do you want to put on? What do you want to put on? I don't have my hoodie. I don't have my hoodie.
Another thing that people are liking about this is that when you're teaching pronoun phrases, when you select I, of course, I did my best to choose the most common pronoun phrases. The page is just not quite as busy. So maybe you're working on a phrase like, I see.
See. Bowling.
Again, if you start from the main page, I see is in the same place. So it's just sort of something I decided to do, and I think a lot of the clients that I've worked with and their families have benefited from it because it's not quite as much to look at. It can be a little less overwhelming. And also, if you just happen to go to one of these category pages, you just have a lot more vocabulary available to you. So I'll spend time showing just a few more of these things. Okay, with school, here's the school page. You also have these subject folders that are basically just pages that are available for people to set up and customize. With the art category, I put several verbs, related verbs: paint, draw, color, cut, and make. So when you select the pronoun I, all those verbs are there.
Can paint you a picture. I can paint you a picture.
So music has listen and play.
Will you play me a
Looking for song. Here it is.
song? Will you play me a song? I love to listen to jazz. I love to listen to jazz.
TV and movies has the verb watch. And of course we tried to just give people examples, so we put some common TV shows in England and some channels, but of course all that can be customized. Weather, I think I'll do school and show, school also has two links. One is calendar time. So on calendar time, you've got
The weather is cloudy. Today,
or you could say
snowy and cold today.
the weather was, the weather will be, the season is.
The season is winter. Yesterday was Wednesday, January 11th, 2017. Our schedule.
And of course, this is meant to be customized. And you also have a link to a page that is test answers. So if someone's taking a test, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, true and false.
Oops. Yes. No. I don't know.
That's all on the school, available from the schools page. And there's jokes. And the news page gives you places where you can program news to share either at school or at home. I think I've given you a fairly good example of what's available on this page. So, Trevor, I don't know if there's something else you'd like me to cover now about the file, or if you would like to take over and talk about the email and text now.
Yeah, sure. I can give a little tour of the special pages. That's fine.
Okay.
I'm just going to see if I can share my screen.
Okay, so I'm going to show you some of the accessible apps that we've built into WordPower 100. You get to them from the groups page, and you can see along the bottom here all the ones in purple are the accessible apps, and I'm going to show you the email grid to start with. So if I was to create a new email from here, I'll click on new, choose who we're sending it to, and then write email. So here we've got some basic social phrases.
Hi,
So we could start off with some of these.
how are you today?
But then it clearly isn't possible to include all the vocabulary that you might want to write in an email on this page. So for that reason, what you can do is anything that you've created on the other pages within the grid set, you can paste into your email with the paste chat function. So I can just show you that. If we go back home, so we've got some text here already. Let's add something to that. So
Do you want to go to the Now. Do you want to go to the pub now?
Okay, so we've got our text there. I'll go back to groups and to email. And I'd already started that email, so now I'm going to go to edit to carry on with it. And you see the button here, paste chat. That is going to copy whatever is in the chat writing area, the message that we just composed, and it's going to paste it here into our email. So there you have it. Let's sign off.
All the best.
And now we can send the message. You get a confirmation screen. I can either send it or I can choose go back if I decide I haven't quite finished. Let's send. And that's that message gone. So I'll go back to groups again now. To send a text message is exactly the same process as I've just shown you for email. You can also paste from the chat writing area into a text message as well. You can use any Android mobile phone with Grid 3. You've got camera functionality here to take pictures and to view pictures. You have an accessible web browser. We've got notes pages, which is a basic word processor essentially, and again you can paste from the chat writing area into there, and then you can save that as a document and come back to it at a later time. We also have a player for media, music and videos. The music is pulled in from anything you have in Windows Media Player, and videos will show anything that's in your My Videos folder by default. I'll just show you the music. It'll just take 1 second for it to appear. And there's all the music that's in my Windows Media Player library, and I can filter that in different ways by artists or albums or playlists and so on. We also have environment controls built in, so you can control various devices if you have the right sort of device to do that with. So GridPad Pro device. We have an accessible calculator and clock, and also the user themselves can change many of the settings from within Grid 3. So according to the access method, different settings are available, but for eye gaze, for example, it's possible for the user to adjust the dwell time themselves. And there are volume and brightness adjustments and so on. So that's just a little overview of the accessible apps and special functions that are available. The next thing I just want to show you is how to add the WordPower 100 grid set to Grid 3. If you don't have a copy of Grid 3 already, you can download it from our website, and you can download a 60-day free trial. So it's thinksmartbox.com, and then click on software and Grid 3, and you can download the software there. Once you've got Grid 3, I'll just show you, I'm going to go to Grid Explorer, which is essentially your home page for launching grid sets. I obviously already have WordPower 100 there, but if I didn't and I wanted to add it, I'd go to Menu and Add. Now at the moment, WordPower 100 is available only in UK English, so if that isn't your default language, you would need to change it here. for it to become visible. Once you've done that, and you would go into symbol communication, and then if I scroll down, there it is, click next, and then add. And then lastly, I just wanted to show you how to get hold of the manual. And there's a really good manual that's available as a PDF, and it has lots of practice sentences in there which will lead you through, and as you practice those sentences you get familiar with all the different areas of the grid set which Nancy has shown us this evening. So all you need to do is click on menu, and then here click grid set manual. It will launch your web browser and download the PDF automatically for you, which you can then open up. Okay, so I'd like to invite questions at this point.
Nancy, can you see the chat window okay? And there's some questions that have already come in. You might want to, if you scroll up a little bit, you might see them. I was told there was one around color coding. If you're able to talk a little bit about the design from a color point of view.
From the what point of view? Oh, color coding.
From coloring, yeah.
Oh, sure. Well, the color coding that I basically use is just, I use yellow for the pronouns, and the color coding was actually started by, I actually have a reference on this. Yes. It's color-coded according to the general guidelines set forth in the Picture Communication Symbols book back in 1989. So with yellow for the pronouns, green for the verbs, so I always use the light green for the helping verbs and the darker green. And then, like I say, I put the function words in blue usually and the articles in pink. And then there was something about orange for nouns. And so obviously the nouns aren't orange, but that's why I coded the group's key orange. The other questions here.
So Tracy, who's in Australia, has asked, she'd like to know more about the reasons for structures and sequences. Who is WordPower mainly used by? She's asking. The clinical underpinnings is a valuable info I'd love to hear.
Okay, it's normally, I would say, especially to use this vocabulary, which is 103 cells, and even though it has picture support, you would definitely want somebody that at least has, some literacy. I usually like to turn the symbols off in the message window because I like to think that WordPower is going to help to facilitate literacy, and I love the idea of choosing cells and just having the words show up at the top. So, and this particular configuration has been used by a lot of folks with cerebral palsy as well as autism. I've had some kids over the years that whose skills are not good enough. The clinicians decided they'd rather have this nice full four words and going to a separate page for spelling. I would say anybody who could be using word-based vocabulary that had the motor skills and the cognitive skills to be able to generate full sentences, this would be a good vocabulary for them. I hope that's a good enough answer. Anything else?
Right, we've got quite a few questions coming in here now. Nancy, can you see the chat window there?
You know what? Can you let me take control of the screen again, just to help answer some of these questions?
Of course, yeah. I'd forgotten that I still had control.
Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay, so another question was just about the color coding with describe. And all I was trying to do with this page and the color coding is to highlight the opposite concepts. I found, like, when I put just all of these words on a white page, everything, it just looks so busy. So by having, you know, better and worse one color, big and little one color, it's just my effort at trying to make easier and a little bit more visually salient. And down here, I have kind of the pink words and the darker pink for the negative feelings. So there's something about the days of the week, and I think I did show that for on the school page. You have the ability to say today is, and also on the time page here, you can also do today is
Monday, February 21st, 2017.
So that's available there too. Does the message window scroll if they have typed a lot of text message into it? I assume it does. Does it, Trevor?
It does, yes.
Okay.
What we would tend to suggest probably is, the chat writing window is relatively small. If you're going to create a speech or something like that that's a bit longer, it's probably a bit better to use the notes facility for that, and then you can choose the way that you can save that, and you can choose the way that it is that you speak it. You can speak it by sentence or by paragraph or something like that. The question is there a spell check in the notes feature? A misspelt word that's not in the dictionary will show as underlined in red. So yeah.
Okay. I think
in fact, you can see that underlining there. I'm not sure why it's spell check 21st, but you can see that is what happens with a misspelt word. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I think I've gotten to most of the questions, Trevor.
Okay. Any further questions anyone would like to ask?
Always appreciate feedback. We're going to keep working on making this. Actually, we've still done some modifying even today. So we've worked a long time on this file. I think it's done, but you know we can always make it better. When is the WordPower version be available for smaller layouts? I think we're going to be talking about that in the next month or so. I'm not really sure, but we are planning on doing probably a couple more versions of WordPower for the grid.
So a couple more questions coming there. Will the music automatically start when the user is when they want to say something? It doesn't. So you speak over the top of the music. It's quite easy just to add a play pause button to a page though. So that could be just tucked in there. so it could be paused for playback. How do you create a self-closing grid? That is a command on the grid. So in edit mode, if you go onto the grid tab, you can turn self-closing on there. If you were able to show it, Nancy. So it's so in grid commands. That's in grid commands you can do. You can add a command to turn self-closing on, as shown there. And once you've done that, if you want individual cells on that page to not self-close it, there's a command that you can add to a cell, which is a don't self-close command, so you can stay on that page.
You know, one question here is, is there a way to turn all of the symbols off? I don't know the answer to that. Is there, Trevor?
There's a setting that turns symbols on and off in the chat writing area and the prediction cells.
Right.
For cells that have already been created, there is no automatic way of just deleting all the symbols from the grid set now.
Okay. I didn't think so. That was one of the questions. Okay.
Just scrolling through the questions that are still coming in. Would WordPower 100 be available for Grid 2? No, unfortunately not. We have no plans to develop it for Grid 2.
I'll show the manual again. Select menu, grid set manual right here.
Yeah.
That's very nice. It's also on the website.
Yeah, you can get, if you go to thinksmartbox.com and just search for WordPower, you'll get to the manual that way. But the easiest way is probably to just click menu and manual. Yeah. Is self-closing a new command in the grid, or is this only available in WordPower 100? The self-closing command is in Grid 3. It's also in Grid 2 also. It's just that we've implemented the self-closing facility a lot in WordPower 100. So that where you don't need to manually navigate where it's not really necessary, it sort of helpfully takes you to the right pages when you need it to.
Another comment was some adults don't want to use symbols for communication. This would be a nice feature to add. I agree. You know, especially for the core. And I think that in my experience, and everybody has their own experiences, but I don't usually turn off symbols in something like furniture, but it might be that that might be something for us to consider to do the core pages with only the symbols here on the linking pages, but you know, not having the symbols on these others. That's definitely something for us to think about.
Did you mention the low-tech version, Nancy, at all? The paper version?
I did not mention that, but I will. It's find that. I'll show that. There's also going to be a low-tech version. Like this is actually, it looks like the same vocabulary, but it's not. These, for the most part, don't link. So this will be just a version that you could print out. And I think our idea was to have two, like there would be this page, and then maybe if on the back would be the spelling page. But so up here, you know, we've got the words like please and thank you.
Thank you.
And I haven't quite finished it because obviously we won't have a link to people and places. But this will just be the same vocabulary on a low-tech version so that somebody could print that out and have that available.
And linked to that, in the latest version of Grid 3, which I think was released just today, there's a new print grid function. So you can choose now to print either the chat writing area or you can print the grid itself. So you can easily create a low-tech version of any grid set now. Kate's pleased with that. That's good.
They like that there's going to be a low-tech version.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's always nice to have a low-tech version because devices break down. It's not always convenient to, so we're going to try to, our idea was to just, let me just jump back to put the link right down here so that it would just say low tech, and so you could get to that easily and print that out.
Yeah. So we'll add that in as soon as we can. That won't be a long way off.
No, it won't. Is there a way, which action verbs link and which don't? Yes, that's a good question. Go to your manual because the manual it lists them. So I can. Oh, it looks like I'm going to have to download it, but yes, on one of the pages of the manual, it shows all the verbs that link, and then it gives you some sample sentences. Open the link. This page here. There they are. Nice syntax.
Yeah, I'm just going to find the link for the manual. So if you want to download it direct from the website, so just give me a moment to do that.
Okay.
Jamie was asking about sending text from an iPhone. Unfortunately, it's Android only, so not from an iPhone now. Let me just get the link for the manual for you all. 1 second.
Well, and the comment about do you know which verbs link? I mean, none of the verbs link directly. They just provide a link. So in other words, when I select eat, it doesn't go to food. It just gives me a link to food. And drink. That there's just a link if I want to go there.
Read.
So that's why, I mean, I've always thought that was enough of a visual cue.
Watch.
Because if I just want to say, I don't want to watch with you.
Don't. To. Watch.
As soon as you go
With.
away from it, it'll disappear.
You.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to watch with you.
Yep. Yep. Good.
Oh, and there's the link.
Yeah. Fantastic. Okay. That's been a really great session, Nancy. Really appreciate you taking the time to share with us this evening. Once again, my sincere apologies for the technical difficulties at the beginning. Needless to say, we probably won't use this particular platform for future webinars, but I hope it didn't ruin your enjoyment too much. Once we got underway, I hope it was a useful thing for you. So thanks again, Nancy.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Trevor.
And if you have any further questions, don't hesitate to get in touch with us, or indeed suggestions and feedback. It's always much appreciated, and our support team are always on hand if you have any difficulties with Grid 3 or with the grid set itself. Okay.
Righty, thanks.
Thanks, everyone. I'm going to stop the recording at this point.